Hey YouTube friends and family, thank you so much for tuning into my channel, Tell Me Now TV. You all know how much I appreciate it. So this is a review of Porsha's Having a Baby, episode 3. So it starts off with Porsha eating. Now, I don't know what is going on at Bravo, but they are so messy because every time you turn around, Porsha's eating. And she was grubbing on this food. I don't know what it was, but it must have been delicious the way girlfriend was getting down on it. So anyway, Dennis comes in with some flowers and stuff, and they start talking about baby names. And Dennis wants to go with the name Penelope. Now for me, Penelope is such a vanilla white girl name. I'm screaming at the TV, no, we are not doing Penelope. And thank goodness Porsha felt the same way. But what they decided to do was put some names in the hat, in the jar, and if the baby came out looking like Porsha, they were going to name the baby Porsha. If the baby came out looking like Dennis, they were going to pick one of the names from in the hat. In the confessional, Porsha wasn't really going to do that, but she kind of went along with it. But the names that Dennis came up with, I'm just looking like I'm not feeling none of them. So we had the little white girl Penelope name. Then there was Pace, Presley, Puma, yeah, like the shoe, Pax, Poe, Pilar, and Porter. Now, Dennis didn't want to go with Pilar because Pilar was the name of one of his exes. So he wasn't really feeling it. Porsha didn't care. And my question is, well, what happened between Dennis and Pilar that he is so against that name? But that's another story for another time, I guess. So anyway, Porsha pulls the name out of the jar and it winds up being Penelope. Well, we already know that they wound up naming the baby Pilar, so crisis avoided with that. Next, we see Porsha having lunch with her mother, Miss Diane. And she just looks so cute, all big and pregnant and whatnot. And she sits down at the table, and her belly's so big that she bumps the table. And that just kind of cracked me up. I thought that was funny. But anyway, so Porsha and her mother are talking about how it seems like Dennis is changing his mind about the house and living out in Duluth and whatnot. And Porsha believes it's because his mother has been getting in his ear. And so Miss Diane says that she's going to have a talk with Dennis's mother. So then we cut over to Dennis and Porsha going in for a sonogram. This is, shortly before she's ready to give birth. And if you guys have this episode on tape, go back and listen to the laugh that Porsha gives. It is so cute. You could just tell she is thrilled to death and so happy and in her element. But her laugh just kind of cracked me up. And then the doctor comes in. It's Dr. Dunson Allen. And I was like, oh, so no Dr. Jackie? The way Bravo makes it look, I thought that Dr. Jackie was the only OBGYN in all of Atlanta, with Dr. Simone being her backup. So it was good to see another OBGYN. So now we have Miss Diane and Mama Gina going out to lunch. And it starts off nice enough. They give each other cordial greetings and whatnot. And then they start talking about the whole moving to a new home. And then the conversation moves on to the prenup. So they were disagreeable when they were talking about the house. But honey, when it came time to talking about the prenup, Mama Gina threw her fork down, got a stink face, and a nasty attitude. Well, they go back and forth, and it winds up that both women get up, storm out of the restaurant, talk about they don't need to see each other no more, which I thought was ridiculous for two grown women who are about to be grandmothers to be going through that mess. But, so be it. I come out on the side of Miss Diane. Porsha and Dennis are grown. Let grown folks handle their business. the way I think about it is Dennis was smart enough to start a successful business. Dennis knows how to protect his assets when it comes down to it. So I understand a mother wanting to look out for her child, but let the man be a man, Mama Gina, okay? So now we have Porsha and Ricky Smiley going out for lunch. Now, what was it? It wasn't this past season. Maybe it was the season before last, where they showed Porsha and Ricky Smiley going out and they were roller skating. I thought that they made the cutest couple. I would have loved to see them get together, but apparently they are just really good friends. So, but I thought they would have made a wonderful couple. But anyway, so they're talking about how to make Dennis feel more comfortable, and getting him out of the basement would be one of the ways to do that. Now, the crazy thing is, everybody has been telling Porsha this. Dr. Sherry told her this. You know, like all these people are telling her this, but all of a sudden, as soon as Ricky Smiley says something, it gets through to her, and she realizes that she needs to give more concessions. She really hasn't given concessions to Dennis like she should. So she says one thing that really stood out to me. She said she doesn't want to lose everything that she worked for, talking about her house. And I get it. After what Cordell did to her when they were married, I totally understand it. I mean, she bounced back wonderfully. And Cordell really, really did her wrong. And, you know, I actually lived in Pittsburgh when Cordell was quarterback for the Steelers. So, yeah, I remember Cordell quite well from Pittsburgh. But at any rate, getting back on track, I don't think that Porsha would be losing everything that she worked for. Now, I'm not trying to get into their bank account and all that, but my thought always was, it's a beautiful house. Why don't they rent it out so they have income coming in, and the income would pay for the mortgage on the house, and they move closer to the city of Atlanta. That way she's not letting go of her property, and she's continuing to make money. I mean, to me, that makes sense. If they can afford to put a down payment on another house without selling that one, I mean, that's the way I think that they should go. But at any rate, I don't think that she would be losing everything if she sold the house. I mean, she's gaining a husband and a beautiful baby. And again, this is part of concession. So then Ricky asked her about when is she coming back to the Ricky Smiley morning show. And she says, you know, she's taken off for maternity leave. And when she tells him how long she's going to be off, when he said, what kind of Obamacare do you have? It laid me all the way out. That was some funny mess. And this is another one. If you have the recording still, go back to that scene and look at Ricky Smiley's face when he's laughing. That laugh had me cracking up for about 20 minutes. It was so funny. So yeah, take a look at that if you still have it. It cracked me up.
The lady man.
Yeah, what kind of Obamacare I got, child?
Next, Porsha is on the phone. She's in the car on the phone talking to her mother. Now, her mother has been on Real Housewives of Atlanta before, but they never really showed a whole lot of her, so I didn't really know what kind of woman she was and what kind of relationship that she had with her daughter. But I can tell that they have a wonderful mother-daughter relationship just by the way that they were speaking with each other. So that was good to see. Got a little bit more of Miss Diane's personality. So now we're back at the house with Dennis and Porsha, and the two mothers are going to come over. This is after they had the big blow up at the restaurant. So first Miss Diane comes in, and it's all love, and you know, she gives her daughter hugs and kisses and gives Dennis hugs and kisses. Then in comes Mama Gina. Of course, she greets her son. She greets Porsha and ignores Miss Diane. And we're like, oh, okay, so this is what we're doing now when we're grown folk. So Dennis is like, Mama, don't be like that. And she's like, what? It's just ridiculous. An instant stink face. Now, I really thought that Dennis and Porsha handled this so well, because it was a tense situation, and when you're about to have a heated discussion, sometimes it's hard to figure out how to get the conversation rolling. And I think that Dennis and Porsha did a really good job with mediating this. Porsha said something along the lines of, we got to talk this through until we work it out. We got to talk it out. So Mama Gina saying, I'm going to advise my son, talking about the prenup. And she was like, to Porsha, she's like, I know that your mother advises you. And Portia's like, no. She was like, my mother stays out of my business. My mother knows that I know how to handle my business. I have attorneys for my business. And Mama Gina, with her stink face, talking under her breath to Dennis, saying, don't you believe that? Don't you believe that? And it's like, she's just so cynical about the whole thing, And that's when Miss Diane gets upset. And she's like, you know what? There's enough stuff out here to break up this young couple. You got people at work. You got people out in the public. She's like, it would be a shame and a disgrace if it wound up being the mothers that broke them up. The mothers. And she's absolutely right. And at first, Mama Gina sitting there with that stink face on, saying, yeah, okay, Diane, okay. And Diane is just like really upset. And it's like, I don't know, something happened and it clicked in Mama Gina's head that this is for real. And she lets her guard down, and you can see the ice just melting off of her. And she comes to realization that, yeah, we don't want to mess with these young people. So then it's all love and hugs, and they make up. And Dennis said to them, have faith in us. We're going to work this out. And I believe that they will. So now we switch over to closet organization. So Porsha called in some closet organizers. And did anybody else notice how really overdressed these two women were? It didn't look like they were coming to work on nobody's closet. They had the Sunday come to meeting clothes on. But yeah, they were way overdressed. I'm like, you know what? As soon as the cameras turned off, they probably had their workers go in there and straighten up the closet, because they were way too overdressed to be doing that kind of work. But anyway, they did an excellent job, because when they showed the closet after, it was really nice. It was organized well. It was nice and clean. But I mean, it was a big closet, but I think that they need a bigger closet, because I'm sure some of his clothes are still down in the basement, and he probably only brought up the clothes that he's going to wear on a regular basis. So I think they need a bigger closet. But I mean, it was good for what it was, and it was a nice gesture on Porsha's part to let this man feel more at home in their home. So now we have Dr. Sherry, who does a house call. This is the night before Porsha goes in to have her baby. And even though this wasn't like a super exciting scene, I really liked it because of what they revealed. Dennis was talking about that he's picking and choosing his battles. And anybody that's been in a long-term relationship knows you have to. You've got to pick and choose your battles. You can't fight over everything. You can't bring every old little thing up. So I think that Dennis is really an even keel kind of guy, and to Porsha's more outgoing personality. And I loved how Porsha gave the man credit. She was like, he's been so incredibly supportive during this time. And you could just see the proudness in Dennis. I think that he really appreciated that recognition, and it was good that Porsha gave it to him. So anyway, the scene is Porsha and Dennis sitting on the couch, And I'm sitting there cracking up because Porsha, just as pregnant as she want to be, sitting on the couch with her legs open just as wide as her man's. They both had their legs sitting wide open. It's like, you know what? When you're super pregnant, that's the way that you have to sit, because you can't close your legs because your belly is too big. So I get it. It was just really funny looking. So now we have delivery day, and my man Dennis is hype. Like, through all of the, Porsha's having a baby episodes and all Real Houses of Atlanta, this dude has been so chill and so mellow and so even keel and so nonchalant. But man, day of delivery, boy was loud, he was animated, and he was hype. And he was taking the bottle to the head. He was taking it to the head, man. I ain't mad at him. I thought it was fantastic. And Porsha's sitting there getting all glammed up. And I'm trying to remember when I was going to the hospital to have my baby, I was not allowed to wear makeup. I was not allowed to wear jewelry. The only thing that I did to get ready to have a baby was get my hair braided so I wouldn't have to deal with it. But she getting curls put in her hair. She got her makeup. She got her big old lashes and everything. I'm like, okay, well, if that's what they're doing now, more power to you. So now Dennis is getting ready to put Porsha's bags in the car. And I'm looking at this. She had enough luggage. It looked like she was going on one of those international trips with the girls from Housewives of Atlanta. And he's like, Porsha, you're only going into the hospital for 2 days, but she had all this luggage. And then I'm thinking, wait a minute, wait. She's having a C-section, and she's only going to be in the hospital 2 days? Now, mind you, my kids are grown, but with my first child, I had a C-section, and I was in the hospital for 7 days. Second C-section I was in the hospital for 5 days. Now, my daughter just had a baby 4 years ago. She had a C-section, and she was in the hospital for 3 days. So now they got it down to 2 days. That's the insurance company. They trying to kick you out of the hospital fast, because 2 days for a C-section, that's kind of short, but whatever. So anyway, before they leave out the door to go to the hospital, Dennis grabbed some more alcohol. He had probably 4 or 5 bottles of alcohol in his arms, and they're on their way to the hospital, and Porsha's sister drives them up to the hospital. Then we cut to delivery, and there's Porsha. She got the little operating room cap on, but you see her baby hair sticking out. She got her eyelashes. Next thing you know, you hear a baby cry, and you hear Miss Diane saying, "Oh, Porsha, she's beautiful." And it was just like, I was so happy. I was so happy for her at this time. Then they show the family back at home with little Pilar. If you've ever had a C-section, it is rough on your body, because you figure you don't got no core anymore, because they literally cut your stomach muscles. You can't laugh, you can't cry, you can't sneeze, you can't stand up too quick, you can't sit down too quick. I mean, it's a major surgery. But they show little baby Pilar, and she's got a head full of hair, just as cute as she wants to be. And then you see Porsha asking Dennis for her push gift. And they going back and forth, and he's trying to be coy about if he got a push gift or not. Next thing you know, the doorbell rings, and the jeweler comes in. And Dennis got a little baby Pilar size Rolex for the baby. And he said that he got a matching Rolex for him because he did a lot of work, which I thought was cute. And then he finally pulls out a Rolex and gives it to Porsha. So the three of them have matching Rolexes, which I thought was just the cutest thing ever. But yeah, they needed to take that watch off of that baby. But it was really cute. So now they call themselves the Rolly Gang, which I thought was funny. And that was the end of the episode. We have baby Pilar Jenna McKinley. just as adorable as she want to be. And from what I understand, they're actually having a sip and see this coming Sunday, which will probably be part of season 12 of Atlanta Housewives. And I honestly would not be surprised if we don't see Porsha get a spinoff. I think that might be in the works. And at least she's going to get a wedding special, because they said they were going to be getting married around New Year. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see, that being taped by Bravo. But I just, want to congratulate Porsha and Dennis on their new baby. She's just adorable. And I would like to thank you all for tuning in to my show. And if you would please like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. And until then, you guys have a great day. Bye.